and welcome. It's a delight to have you here. I don't plan out the topics for the satsangs. Usually I just wait uh, maybe a day or two, the topics come. So today's topic is 30 seconds to self realization. Okay, does that sound good? Yeah? All right, 30 seconds. Now, Swami says we can actually achieve self realization in 1 second. But I figure that most of us, at least me, are pretty slow. So probably we need additional time. So 30 seconds to self realization. You want to know how to do this? Yeah. Now, guys, you need a lot of enthusiasm to know self realization. Yes? Yes? Okay. All right. Great, great. So it's very simple. And actually, what I found is that what we're going to talk about today will build on what we've been discussing over the last many weeks. Okay. So we shared how Swami had said that there are 3 stages in the spiritual path, right? The first one is I am in the light, right? And then what comes after those? What were the next 2 stages? After the stage of I am in the light, what's the next stage? The light is in me. And the final stage? I am the light. So these are the 3 stages that Bhagavan has given. And we discussed how it can be a long time or a short time in each of the first 2 stages. And then finally, we reach the 3rd stage. So you go from I am in the light is in me, to I am the light. What happens though is that once you reach the 3rd stage, I am the light, it's often temporary. We tend to slip back and we can go right to the 2nd stage, the light is in me, all the way down to I am in the light, all the way to basement and sub-basement also, right? It goes very fast, just like that, depending on the intensity of your sadhana and your awareness. And then after the 3rd stage, what happens next? You remember? You have to stabilize in the self, right? First, you get self realization, and it's often temporary. And then you have to stabilize or self stabilization. Now, Swami describes this a bit differently. The way that Bhagavan has given this to us, he said to Janaman Kalasu Wintergate, who shared this with us, he said that there are 3 types of self realization. The first type is the intellectual type. So these are people who read books about Advaita and oneness, and they try to understand everything is Atma. And you can tell because they're like very left-brained, right? You know what I mean? You guys, you know what I'm talking about? They don't have any emotions. It's all Maya. Nothing is real, and they're like very like boring people. Okay, so that's the first stage, that intellectual stage. The second type of self-realization is the temporary type of self-realization. And this is what we're going to try to achieve today. In this stage, one comes to a level where you know that you are the self, and then because of whatever, it usually goes down. And Bhagavan says that this stage is usually achieved in meditation or other high spiritual states. And then the third type of self-realization is the least common type, and this is the permanent type of self-realization, the sahaja or natural state, where one is always aware of the self. That's very uncommon. Usually such people will not be seen and they prefer to keep to themselves. Now, self-realized people are actually more common than you think. Once I was talking with a lovely Sai devotee named Bernice Mead. She's no more, but she at that time was head of the Sai education program in the United States for the Sai organization there. This was in the 1990s. And she was telling me that she had an interview with Swami, and she asked Swami, Swami, are there any self-realized people in America? Good question, no? And Swami said, oh, yes, there are 50,000 of them. Now, Swami said, now she's an American, and Bernice Mead is really fiery. She said, 50,000? Well, where are they, Swami? And Swami said, well, they're there, but you don't see them because they often keep to themselves. Okay? So this last stage is less common, but it's there. Okay, so 3 types of self-realization. Got it right? Intellectual type, temporary type, and permanent type. What we're going to work towards today is the temporary type, because once you achieve that, then it's work, but you can then get to the more permanent stage, and it becomes more and more permanent. It's not that suddenly you go, ding, this is permanent. The self-realization becomes longer and longer, and then it goes deeper and deeper. Now, self-realization is not a destination, okay? It's not like you say, I'm going to go to the metro station and I'm done. It doesn't work like that. It's endless. It's endless. It's like imagination. It just goes on and on. That's why even the most realized of souls will continue to do their sadhana so that they can achieve deeper states of self-realization. And this planet is one of the few places where you can go so high while still having a body. Okay, got it now? Ready? Okay, so you've understood that there are 3 stages on the spiritual path. We're here for self-realization. And what's the one thing that I keep saying you need in order to have self-realization?
Should be the highest priority.
No, that's like a intellectual answer. No, give me something like one word answer. What's the one thing you need? Even simpler than that. Simpler than that. Simpler than that. Stillness. Stillness. All you have to do, you have to want self-realization first, right? It won't just go toing like that, no? I was walking down the street yesterday and I became self-realized. Yeah, that doesn't happen, So, but what you need is stillness. You need stillness. That's the one thing. Now, what we're going to do in this technique is we're going to achieve that stillness through bhakti. Okay? Bhakti is simple. It's accessible to everybody. We all know what that is, that devotion. But there are different grades of bhakti. There are different types of bhakti. I'm not talking about the 9 flowers of devotion that Swami says. I'm talking about something that is called Param bhakti. Now, Param bhakti, Swami says, is defined by sage Narada as that type of bhakti where the devotee, in his or her devotion to God, forgets the body. Okay? Forgets the body. This is Param bhakti, where you no longer have a body, right? Okay. Now, do you remember a couple of months ago? Let's see how good of a student you are. Okay. Quiz time. The mind is always working, right? Underneath all those thoughts that you have, and the mind is always jumping from past to future, from anger, irritation to sadness, right? Keeping going back and forth, back and forth. And have you seen how this has happened? Have you been watching your mind lately to see how quickly the mind fools you? Just like that, doing, you're lost. And the mind will, as soon as you lose that awareness, as soon as you lose that alertness, the mind will immediately resume its siege. Immediately, okay? Now, underlying all these thoughts, there is one thought that is so pervasive that you hardly even notice it, so quiet that you hardly even notice it. What is that one thought? I am the body. I am the body. That one thought is what ties you to this Maya game. I am the body. Okay? So in this technique, what we will do is we will go to a state of devotion where you're just so absorbed in Bhagavan and Swami that you lose awareness of the body. You just give it up. You're just so happy, so joyful, so blissful in that devotion to God, in that love for God. You give up everything, including your body awareness. That's the key part. You forget about the body. And in that state, you will be shown what? Love will teach you what? That you are? Love will show you you are everything, right? Then you will know that you are everything, right? Wisdom will show you that you are nothing, no thing. So in this stage, this practice, we will achieve self-realization through the bhakti path, through Param bhakti, where you get so much devotion to God. And in that state of bliss, you leave the body, or don't leave the body, please. Okay. I know there's a doctor here, but that's not what this is for. You leave the body consciousness behind, okay? And you just become one with God. Yeah? All right? If anyone falls down, just let me know, okay? Okay, got it? Now, the easiest way to do this is in bhajans. some kind of devotional program. You can do it in a worship or puja or something like that also, but it's very easy to do this technique in bhajans. So next time you're in bhajans, try this out, but we're going to do it now, okay? And don't worry if you don't get it the first time. If you're watching, you can do this also, but practice it because it takes a little bit to get the hang of it. Why? Because you need to achieve that state of bliss. That's the requisite. You have devotion to God. You love Swami so much. You enter a state of ananda, bliss. Once you reach that stage, then it's a simple thing. You just merge in God's bliss. And that's it. Done. Finished. Okay? So this is the first technique. The second technique we'll go over. Let's do this first technique now. All right, so everyone just close your eyes, sit up straight, make your body relaxed. This is really important. Before you do any sadhana, relax yourself completely. Breathe in and out a few times if you need to. Yeah? Relax your face, relax your jaw, relax your eyes, your chin, the muscles of your cheeks. Relax your neck, your abdomen. Let your breathing become relaxed. Let your mouth become relaxed, really become loose. Okay? And then recollect in your mind some state or experience or even the picture or image or the feeling of being with God, with Swami, in whatever name or form you like. And you're going to recollect that bliss and bring it back to the present moment. Okay? Really stay in that bliss and allow that bliss to expand. That love, that bliss that you're feeling is expanding further and further. And then what I want you to do is just to jump completely in that bliss. Jump into that bliss. Make the leap so that there's nothing left behind except the bliss of Sai, that ananda of Sai. And just stay in that state. If you come out, then go back into that state. Just smile at yourself and go back into that state. Letting go of the body, letting go of worries and concerns. Okay, got it? Done? You can all open your eyes now. Okay, good. So that's the basic technique. Now, you're not going to get it right the first time, most of you. Some of you will, but that's the basic technique. I'll give you an example of how this happened to me. I'll give you an old example so that you can understand this. So this happened to me when I was a young adult. I was maybe in my 20s, and I was at a Sai retreat in the United States, and we had gone for Nagar Sankirtan, and afterwards we had come back to the starting point, and we were singing Swami's Arati. And you know the point where you get to the last chorus, you know the last part we sing Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. So in that part, that part of the Arati, the bliss of just chanting Swami's name became so much that I forgot everything else. I forgot where I was. I forgot who I was. I forgot what was happening. I forgot that I was in some retreat singing bhajans with so many other people. Just forgot it all. It all disappeared. This is the key part. It all disappeared into that bliss. And what was left was just that bliss and love of God. Okay? Does that make sense? You can see what I'm saying? Can we try it again now? Okay, now you've got this tip. Let's do it one more time. Let's go back to that state. Again, relax first. Just relax, 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 relax. Go back to that state, memory, past experience, or maybe an image that you hold dear of God, of Swami, in whatever form you prefer. Go into that state of extreme bliss, where everything that exists is God. Forget everything else. And then whenever you're ready, forget your body and just go deep into that bliss. and come back. Slowly open your eyes, come back to the present moment. So, this technique is not meant to be a long winded technique, something that you should be able to do within a few bhajans or a few moments whenever required. Now, here's something, I'll tell you a trick, okay? Remember how I said the mind is always ready to fool you? The mind will even try to fool you using this technique. And how it will do that? It's like this: you're just about to enter into nothingness. You're just about to become nothing and go into total bliss. And then the ego will raise its mind and says, but what if I become nothing? And then you will become afraid. Yes? Has that happened to anyone? You'll feel a fear of becoming nothing. Okay? Yeah, it's happened. This is a trick of the mind. It's a classic trick of the ego. And everybody goes through this at one time or the other. So if you've reached that stage, congratulations. It means that the mind is trying to trick you before you finally go into that non-physical or non-being, that nothing state. So congratulations, but just watch for this. Now, how the mind will trick you again is you will be in that state and the mind will knock in the back saying, hello, what about me? I'm still here. And then it'll drag you out of that state, okay? And it'll tell you about, you have to do your laundry, you have to pay the grocery bill, fan went out, all these things. This is what the mind will do. So when, again, you see that, just smile at the mind and then go right back into that state. And what will happen is, as you keep practicing this, you will get better and better at it. It becomes natural for you. The other day, I was just joking with Shivani. We were watching IPL. Kohli got out so fast. I was like, man, we were rooting for Bangalore, and they lost really badly. But I was just telling her, even just watching cricket, I'm able to remain in that state of the self. Still cheering when they hit a 4 or 6, for which they didn't hit many. But, that's how you should get to that state where it doesn't matter what is happening externally to you. You're still in that state that everything is the self. And it's that easy. It really is that easy. Sometimes I look at you and I wonder, boy, you guys are making the biggest sacrifice because you're still stuck in my this and my that. Once there was a lady, this was told to me by a friend of mine who was in an interview with Swami, and a lady had come also called by Swami for an interview, and she started to complain to Swami. Oh, Swami, my family, Swami, my husband, Swami, my children, Swami, my job, Swami, my health. She went on complaining. Swami listened to her quietly and very patiently for some time. And then you know what he said? He said, aren't you tired of all this yet? Imagine. So let go of the tricks of the mind and go back into the silence. Okay, so this is technique number 1. Do you want to learn a second technique for self-realization? Yes or no? Come on, guys. Yes. Okay, good.